Our grad school champ today is Dr. Hasina Rakotomanana. He grew up in the rural parts of Antananarivo, the capital of the beautiful island country, Madagascar. Growing up as a native French and Malagasy speaker, Hasina overcame several obstacles in the pursuit of his goal of a PhD in nutritional sciences at Oklahoma State University. He is an expert in global nutrition with a special focus on childhood malnutrition. He is a freshly minted graduate as he recently defended his PhD dissertation. In this video, he shares his struggles, how he overcame them, his tips on admission, obtaining grants and advisors, and lastly what he thinks about the COVID-19 organics from Madagascar. So why don't you just take us into your personal background? Let us know how you transitioned from that to coming to a master's or PhD in the United States.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ojo, for that introduction. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and share a little bit of my experience and perspective on my graduate journey here. It all started when I enrolled in my undergraduate program in agronomy. So I majored in agronomy, and then back home, at your third year, you would have to choose a specialization. So I chose food science and technology. And then after that, I went on to do my master's in applied chemistry before coming here to do my master's in nutritional sciences and finally my PhD in nutritional sciences.
Yeah, what motivated that transition from chemistry
definitely so
to nutrition?
So when we studied in agronomy, so we would they would send us, it's a requirement that you would have to go every year to the rural areas of Madagascar to learn about farmers and how they manage their farms and everything. So that sparkled my interest in food security. That's what really got me into nutrition. So food security. So I was very curious how on earth the people who are producing the food are the ones who are most vulnerable to food security. So by that time, I did not really think about nutrition. So I was really focusing on food security. Then I wanted to learn more about food security. How can we deal with that problem? But then, back then, there was no program about specifically academic programs specifically targeting like food security and nutrition. So that's what got me into looking for opportunities abroad to study food security. Then when I searched, then that's when nutrition came up. So I applied for a scholarship called the Fulbright program.
Okay.
And that's how I get into the nutrition world.
Very interesting. So you are from Madagascar, which is a French-speaking country, and of course you guys speak Malagasy, right? And you studied in French, right? Using they taught you guys in French all through university. So I'm just curious to know, how did you learn English? How did you prepare for your master's and PhD? Because you have to pass the TOEFL, right? So what was that like for you?
It's it's difficult, of course. I was so I said everything we learned was in French at school. So when I knew that I had a little chance of getting here even, so I started doing things to prepare my English. So one of the things that we would do, because back then we we didn't have a full-time job or anything, so I couldn't invest in English classes. They were expensive at that time. One thing that we would do is I would call a friend, and then we would gather every weekend. We would gather every other person who would be interested in joining us, and then we would have our own English club. So for 1 hour or 1 hour and a half, we would only speak English, whatever it is. Even if it was wrong, nobody was there to correct us anyway. So that's what we did for several months, actually. For that, and then we would watch movies together, still in French but with English subtitles. And then on my own time too, I would all of those songs in English, I would copy them. I would copy the lyrics, and then I would learn from them. So that's how I learned a little bit more. And then when I had really high chances of getting here, then I had to enroll in a conversational English class, because all of those, nobody was there to teach me, oh, this is correct or not. So I had to. Then I did maybe like 1 month of conversational English with an English speaker. But that was the everyday part. But then the academic part, that was also another challenge, because
right?
First of all, I didn't have a background in nutrition. So that was the first layer. And then adding to that, the system, the way English-speaking countries write, the way you write in science in general, it's very different.
Very new,
Yes, than what I was used to. And it took me a while to learn that. So when I got here, I had to do extra work. I had to do a lot of reading. Every time we have an assigned reading, I would have to read every sentence probably 3 or 4 times before I get the meaning. That was the first semester, but it got better. So I just used whatever resources I had.
That's very impressive. And you speak so well now.
Thank you. I hope so.
Well, so far we have learned that, it's not impossible to change fields. So it's all about your purpose. Exactly. And also whatever you set your mind to do, you can obviously achieve it as regards your, learning of English to fulfill your purpose. Mm-hmm. So after your master's, you had the chance to maybe leave to another school or do some other things with your life, but you went for a PhD, right? So you stayed with the same advisor for your master's, for your PhD rather. Mm-hmm. So what was your reason? Why did you stick with your advisor? And how would you, what's your perspective on choosing advisor, PhD advisors?
I think that is one of the most important decisions that you have to make. So for me, especially, besides her expertise and her reputation and everything that she knows, obviously that's the first criteria. For me, being able to work well with your advisor in every aspect of academic work, papers, research, data collection, and everything, even after your PhD, because you would still have very likely to contribute.
Yeah, you still need the advisor after.
The advisor. So that was the main factor for me. I like the way she works. And that the way our dynamic, the way we work together. And I've also found that she's also pushing me to my limits, which is sometimes we don't like it, but
I know.
you have to have somebody like that
Exactly. Yeah.
yes, to better yourself. I didn't want to go and then figure out another
Yeah.
professor
Start
and then
forming another relationship with. Okay.
exactly. So that was one of my main factors. So be sure to have a very good working relationship with your advisor.
And she's one of the leaders in the field. Anyway, Dr.
Mm,
Stoker from
yes,
Oklahoma.
exactly.
That's cool. That's good to know. I hope that will help some people out. So you're one of the things I envy about you. Let me just say it out loud right now is that your research
Please.
had your research had an international application. And for those who are watching that don't know what that means, it's he had to travel to some country, and in this case, it was back home. You had to travel back home for your research, collection of data and everything. So, how did you pull that off in terms of funding? How you got the grants? How challenging was it during this time?
Yes, every research is hard. It has its own challenge, but the main part of international research is the planning. So that the grant, as you said, you'll be funding your research with the planning of the data collection, and even your coursework and everything. You have to plan very carefully. So for my research, actually, I spent the first 2 years applying for grants, but the thing is, it's hard. But you have to keep trying.
Keep
So
trying.
my project right now, it was funded with an endowment chair of from my advisor. But really, the planning, I think that's the most challenging part, especially when you are not there.
Yeah.
Because, for example, for Madagascar, you would have to have, and I'm sure it's similar to other countries, you have to have approval from many, many different people.
Different parastatals, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you would have to be there yourself physically. So sometimes I wanted to try to get the approval from here by sending emails, but that was not just possible. So the first few months of your data collection, your very limited time of data collection, you have to spend it getting all of those approval. But one thing that really helped me a lot was the collaboration of local government and local structure. So even before getting all of those approval,
You
if
have
you
to
can get
strike
the
a partnership with the
yes,
local community there.
exactly. If you can get the support of those, that would be very much easier to get any approval.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. So it's hard. Everything is hard, but you just have to keep trying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So was there a time that you were like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm quitting. Okay. Because most of us experience that, that period where we just want to give up. So did you have any moment like that? And I don't know if you had any moment like that, what kept you going?
I I wouldn't say like quitting the program, definitely, but there have been many times when I thought that maybe this is my maximum capacity. Like I can't,
You can't do
maybe I'm
anymore.
not, yes, maybe I'm not meant for this. This is too much.
Yeah.
Many, many times actually. Uh, Quitting about writing grants, definitely. After my sixth or my fifth, this is it. I will switch completely research. Maybe I am not meant to go home. But on these days, one thing that really kept me going was the end goal. and reminding myself, why did I do this in the first place? One thing that I have since I started, I had written, it's not like a diary, but something about what are all of those things that I would be able to do if I do a PhD, if I have a PhD.
Yeah.
Yes. And really going back and looking at that list, or even just reminding, oh, I will be able to do this. I will be able to do this. All of those things really kept me going.
Yeah.
And
So
the support of friends, of course.
Friends, of course. Yeah, I always advise my mentees that the first thing you need to define is why you are, doing this PhD or a master's. If you cannot define that, you will probably be frustrated out of, out of the program.
When all of those sad moments comes.
Exactly. So the first thing you have to do is to identify why you are doing this. So if you can know that, you will definitely be able to pull through. So we are rounding up now. The one question that I do want to ask is about I've always been sharing my perspective, on admission and funding and all that for prospective students. So I will just want to, if you have any advice for future grad students or current grad students, so what would you like to say to them?
For the prospective students, as you said, be very intentional of what you are trying to do. Have a passion, have a drive, and use that in all of your applications, because that definitely, when somebody reads it, it will really show. And people like that.
It will feel real, right? It will.
Yes, it feels real.
Exactly.
I think, and then for the current students, you definitely can do it. It's hard. It's very hard. There will be times that you feel all of this imposter syndrome. I'm not meant for this. I'm not smart enough for this. But you can do it. Take it step by step. As my advisor said, how do you eat an elephant? And she said, oh, you eat it one spoon at a time, step by step.
Good advice. So the last question that I have is about, you guys have been in the news lately, Madagascar, about the COVID-19 organics that have, been working for you, in quotes, working for you. For me, I think one of the reasons why the world hasn't taken that seriously is because, there are no studies showing, except for hearsay. That's what I call it. You know the country very well, and I just want to get your take on, this particular organics, and why is it really difficult to, conduct a clinical trial to ascertain its efficacy and effectiveness for COVID-19?
Yes, definitely. So we've been on the news for quite a while now, but the thing is, the COVID organics, it's mainly, it's like a tisane. So it's a lot of medicinal plants. The main part is, I think, Artemisia. I don't know if they used the artemisinin, the compound, or is it the whole plant? I'm not sure. And they say that they have also other plants. So that right there, as you said, it's very difficult. And especially right now that we don't know so much about the effect of COVID-19, the virus and everything, that even had more challenge onto it.
Exactly.
So it's gonna be very difficult. Even the medicinal plants that we are using back home, it will take, if you go through the regular process, it will take about 20 years to get it approved. So and, and then this one, I don't know how long they tried it, but uh, um, from what I've heard,
Yeah.
they say that 3 people have been killed
Killed.
from the COVID organics. So that's why.
But we don't know if they will be killed without the organics. Do we know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So all of your questions, as you said, it's hearsay. So they've had the virus. They've taken the COVID organics. They don't have it anymore. That's just all the information we know. We don't know anything else. So it's based on those information.
Yeah,
So
I was just wondering why, even if Madagascar couldn't, organize a clinical trial, maybe the African Union or something may step in and, have this large scale multi-center or multi-countries trial and which it will be very important for, the economy of Africa if we can get that to work and
exactly.
have it marketed to other continents. But well, I guess I don't know. I don't know what the problem is there, and I'm sure people will be willing to, enroll in a clinical trial right now. People who need it will definitely want to try. But yeah, I just wanted to get your take on uh, on that. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today. I'm really, really grateful for accepting to be the first guest on the show. I wish you all the best. You're my brother, you're my friend. I wish you all the best in your future and endeavor moving on from now. And I just want to say I appreciate everything we have passed through together as a friend. And I just want to say thank you for everything. Before, I don't know if I will see you before you leave, but if I don't, I appreciate you so much, my brother.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you too. It's been all right.
Oh yeah.
But yes, you were there all the step of the way, so it's been great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it for today. Please guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Over 63% of people enjoying our videos are not subscribers. Can you imagine that? So please subscribe to the channel. We have so much content that we'll be bringing to you in the future surrounding, getting a master's or PhD in the United States. And even if you are not in the United States, or if you don't plan to get yours in the United States, a lot of this knowledge will still apply to you as well. So subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like our Facebook page and also follow us on Instagram. I give a lot of knowledge out on Instagram that, sometimes I'm not able to set up my camera and everything for YouTube. So please make sure you follow the Instagram page as well. So till next time, I am Babajide Ojo, and I'll see you in the next video.